In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about WordPress web hosting. And I'm just going to go through very quickly with some WordPress hosting providers that are out there. So the first one I want to look at is Kinsta. And I'm not going to get too in depth in any of these plans. I just want to kind of give a quick overview of some things to think about. But you can get to Kinsta by going to Kinsta, Kinsta.com. And Kinsta has WordPress hosting. They have what I guess would be sort of described as VPS, but it's cloud-based. It's pretty quick. I have a site on Kinsta, and they allocate a decent number of resources to an individual site. You can see right now I'm using a starter site, so I'm paying $35 a month for one WordPress installation. And with that, I can get 25,000 monthly visits, 10 gigs of storage space, and 100 gigs with their free CDN. They do free migrations, which is nice. And one of the things that I like about this comparison is I can see how many PHP workers I have on my site or for my individual account. And you can see the PHP workers are, I think it's per site. So you have, on this one, you've got 2 sites. So I believe it's 2 PHP workers per site, but I could be wrong. They do 14 days of backup retention. And you can see it's not recommended for e-commerce websites, but like I said, this is a pretty quick plan. So I've been really happy so far with Kinsta. So that's one option. Another option that you have, if your budget's maybe a little bit lower, would be Flywheel. And you can go to getflywheel.com for that. And we have a few sites on here. A lot of our small business clients are on Flywheel. And you can see that they do have a tiny plan, which is only $13 a month. And it's billed at $150 a year. If you pay it monthly, it's actually $15 a month. So it was set up to be annually. So that's why I was saying $13 a month. But you can see for that amount, $15 a month, $13 a month if you pay for the whole year, you get one WordPress site, 5,000 monthly visits, 5 gigs of storage, and 20 gigs of bandwidth. So you're getting a lot less storage and bandwidth and visits for that amount. If we look down at their comparison, you can see that it's got a lot of the same features. One thing that it doesn't share on here is you don't see like how many PHP workers you have, and you also didn't see on Kinsta how much memory you have for the site. So that is something to keep in mind. One thing that both of them do have that I like is the ability to create staging sites. At least I think Kinsta lets you do staging sites. I think you can. I can't remember, but I do know on Flywheel that you can do staging sites, which is nice. So if you want to make major changes to your site, then you can. And so far, both of these do have nightly backups. So I know Kinsta's is 14 days worth of backups. I want to say for Flywheel, you get 30 days. 30 days worth of backups. And they take them automatically every night. And both of them do have free migration. So if you're coming from another hosting provider, which is one of the nice things about WordPress, you can pick up your site, move it somewhere else. They will do it for you. So I've used the migration on Kinsta. I've not used the migration on Flywheel before because most of my clients that use Flywheel are just getting started with a website. But I have done migrations to Flywheel's other hosting company, which I'll show you in just a minute. So there's that. Another hosting plan that you've got is WP Engine, WPEngine.com. And this is what I mentioned when I said the other Flywheel company. Flywheel and WP Engine are owned by the same company. You can see there's Flywheel right there. And the company that owns WP Engine also owns Advanced Custom Fields. They also own StudioPress, Delicious Brain. So they do have a lot of WordPress technology under their belt. And you can see here, and again, this is priced annually. If you do monthly, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but their least expensive plan is $24 a month if you're doing it monthly. And this is for the first year, I think. Yeah. So I'm sorry. It's $24 for your first month. If you do it annually, you're going to pay $20 a month for the first year. And then you pay $360 a year after that. So you get a discount. That's if you're on the site and you get the same discount that they have right now. The price is subject to change, but you can see here, if we go down to the comparison, I'm going to compare all features. Again, one site, 25,000 visits, 10 gigs of storage, 50 gigs of bandwidth. If we look at the performance, you can see they are shared, and it's a shared environment. So you're sharing resources with other websites on the same server. And I believe they use cloud servers. So it's a cloud network of servers, or you're using cloud-based resources for that. But they do also have the automatic backups, and I think they store for 40 days. And yeah, so and they do have staging sites and development sites, which is really helpful. And I know they also do migration. Let me see if it's in here. If they listed in here. The migration, they have a plugin that can do it. So I don't know if they'll do the migration for you, but they do have a plugin that can help you with that. I do have clients on WP Engine. So I have clients on WP Engine, got a lot of clients on both of these. And I personally have a website on Kinsta. I don't have any clients on Kinsta yet. But another hosting provider that we use is Cloudways. And we have a couple of clients on here. Cloudways is a little bit different because they're all of the ones that I've shown you so far are cloud-based hosting, but this one is a little bit different because you are basically just using the cloud resources, and they're just putting a control panel over those cloud resources. And so they'll install WordPress for you, and they'll manage the software and everything for it. So it's managed cloud hosting. And you can see that you can choose which type of cloud you're on. You can do DigitalOcean, AWS, or Google Cloud. You can do premium or standard. And these prices aren't necessarily what you'll pay. So it's actually, you pay what you use. So if you're using more than this, so if you end up using more storage or more bandwidth, then you're going to pay a little bit more than this. So I do like that they tell you how much memory you get with the server, with the cloud server, how many processors you get, and then your storage and your bandwidth. So that's pretty nice. And they do also do free migration. So they'll move the site over for you if you're coming from another hosting provider, which is pretty nice. And they also do have staging environments. You can just create a copy, but just be aware on this one with the staging environment, you are using additional resources. So you're going to get charged for those additional resources when you use them. They do automated backups. I'm not sure how long they save them for, but they also do automated backups. I think that's really important that whatever hosting provider you use has automatic backups. Now I'm going to go next to SiteGround. This is one, I've got a couple of clients on SiteGround. The SiteGround offers shared hosting. I would say it's okay. It's pretty good for the clients that are using it. They're clients that don't get a ton of traffic, so I'm not sure that I would use SiteGround for a very high traffic website. I do want to point out their prices. You can see it's $2.99 a month. That's discounted from $17.99 a month. That is going to be for the first year. So they kind of pull you in with that really inexpensive hosting in the first year, and then it goes way, way up after that first year. So you're going from $3 a month to $18 a month after the first year. So it's a pretty significant jump. But you can see here that you're getting about 10,000 visits, about 10 gigs of space. You get one website with that. And one thing that they have is the unmetered data transfer. So that's the bandwidth is unmetered. One thing that I do want to mention on SiteGround that you get, I believe you get an email. Yeah, you get free email accounts. I don't think that should be part of your consideration. So if you've read my blog, you listen to my podcast, don't take email accounts into consideration. I don't usually set up email with my web hosting. You want to have them set up separately. as far as I'm concerned, because if you move your web hosting somewhere else, you then have to either keep the plan to keep the email, that's your old provider, or you've got to move the email. And I will tell you from experience, moving your email to a new provider is a huge pain. So you don't want to do it if you don't have to. But you can see, let's see, they do have, I think for their Grow Big, I think you can do staging on that. Let me see if I can find it on here. Staging. Yeah, so their Grow Big and Better allow you to do staging. I believe they do automated backups. You have automated daily backups right there, and they store them for 30 days. I like having on-demand backups, and I do know that Kinsta, Flywheel, and WP Engine do that, as does Cloudways. So you can do that, and you do have on-demand available for the Grow Big and Better. So get that as another option. So this is shared hosting again. So you're sharing the resources with other websites. So one of the issues with shared hosting, which SiteGround, were WP Engine, and Flywheel, I believe Flywheel is shared hosting. If other websites on the shared hosting system that you're on are using a lot of resources, that can take resources away from your website. So that is just something to be aware of. Now, another option that you've got, and I've not used this, but so I can't say this is good or not, but if you are just getting started and you need a very inexpensive hosting plan, you've got Hostinger, HOSTINGER.com. And they have, this is shared hosting. Again, shared hosting. Prices like that, you're going to get shared hosting, $2.99 a month. That's going to be shared hosting. And they have more expensive plans, but so I believe that, yeah, so you can see here it's $2.99 a month for the first year, and then it's going to be $6.99 a month when you renew for their it says it's premium, but that's their least expensive plan. So it's kind of weird to have it named premium, but the for the premium and business, you can see it says 100 websites. I wouldn't put 100 websites on a $3 a month web server. Standard performance, they don't really get into what that is, but you get 100 gigs of storage. You get weekly backups. They don't do daily backups for this plan. You can do daily backups on the next two levels up. They offer free email. They offer unlimited bandwidth. Domain, they give you a free domain, but like with the email, I wouldn't really consider that. I would recommend putting your domain name with a domain registrar. So I usually keep domain names registered with one provider with the domain registrar like Namecheap or GoDaddy or somebody like that. I keep my email with Google Workspace or Microsoft 365, and then I use the web host for my website. So I keep them separated. One thing to note is that on this least expensive plan, they don't give you CDN. CDN, if you go to my podcast or you look at my blog, you'll see there's lots of info about what CDNs are, why they're good. But I personally think I wouldn't want to have a website unless it had CDN. And some other things that you've got here, you can see they do automatic website migration. So if it's automated, I don't know how good that is to do. I've never used it, so something to keep in mind. So anyway, the other thing I want to point out here is that they don't give you priority support for the least expensive plans. They say they do give you priority support for their cloud one, and it looks like this is their cloud startup. So I'm guessing that the cloud is maybe a little bit more sort of sandboxed from other sites. I'm not sure. I'm not positive on that because I've not used Hostinger before, but that's just something to keep in mind. One thing that I do recommend doing is checking the internet for reviews of each of these. You can see they put their reviews on here. And so with this one, you can actually click on the Trustpilot one, but they don't let you click on the Google Host Advice or WP Beginner. So I do recommend checking on them. But I do also want to say that these hosting providers, all of them, every single one of them, have affiliate plans. So there is a really good chance if you find a review of any of these hosting providers, Kinsta, Flywheel, WP Engine, Cloudways, SiteGround, or Hostinger. If you find a review of them, there's a really good chance that the person reviewing them is getting a kickback if you sign up for the plan. And I will be the first to admit I am an affiliate of all of these, I think, except for Hostinger. I've not signed up for Hostinger, but you know, I personally use all of them except for Hostinger so far. So I based on my experience with them, but I'm not going to tell you which one to sign up for. So I want you to look at the different options, make sure you're comparing them. There are some hosting providers that I did not mention in this video, and they are hosting providers that I do not recommend just based on my personal experience. One of, I think, the most important features of any web hosting plan is how good the support is. And I can tell you from my own personal experience that Flywheel and WP Engine have really, really good support, like top-notch support. That's part of why I've been using both of them for so long. Their hosting plans are good. They're not necessarily the best. They're not the fastest that you can get, but they're good. They're very good. But their support is really, really good. It's better than any of the other plans that I've worked with. And some of the plans that I'm not talking about in this video are pretty bad. So just something to keep in mind. So anyway, I hope you found this useful. I do have a mini course on selecting WordPress hosting that touches on some of the things that are in here that I talked about in this video, but it goes a bit more in depth on some of the hosting providers. And it also has a comparison spreadsheet that you can use to help compare the different providers. So you can go to websitesuccessacademy.com, just sign up for the mini membership or the light membership, and you can get access to that. So I hope you found this useful, and I will see you in the next video.